Imagine a scenario where the very office responsible for ensuring millions of children with disabilities receive the education they deserve is suddenly gutted. That's precisely what happened when the Trump administration announced sweeping layoffs within the U.S. Department of Education, sending shockwaves through the special education community. These weren't just any layoffs. They directly targeted the heart of the office overseeing special education, raising serious concerns about the future of support for vulnerable students. According to multiple sources within the department, this reduction in force, RIF, impacted dozens of staff members who manage approximately $15 billion in special education funding. This funding is crucial for states to provide essential services to the nation's 7.5 million children with disabilities. Think about that for a moment. These individuals were the gatekeepers, ensuring states met their obligations to provide appropriate educational opportunities for children who often face significant challenges. This is decimating the office responsible for safeguarding the rights of infants, toddlers, children, and youth with disabilities, lamented one department employee, echoing the sentiments of many who spoke on condition of anonymity. Fearing retribution for speaking out, this sentiment underscores the gravity of the situation and the potential consequences for students with disabilities. Sources revealed that nearly all staff within the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, OSERS, were affected by the RIF, with the exception of a select few top officials and support staff. OSERS serves as the central hub for programs supporting students with disabilities, offering guidance to families and monitoring state compliance with the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA. IDEA, a landmark piece of legislation, guarantees every child with a disability the right to a free and appropriate public education. Before its passage, many of these children were denied access to schools or relegated to inadequate facilities. But here's where it gets controversial. The legality of these cuts is being questioned. Federal law mandates the existence of an Office of Special Education Programs within the Department of Education to oversee special education funding and programs. Some argue that effectively dismantling this office by firing its staff requires congressional approval. The layoffs at the Education Department, totaling 466 positions, were part of a larger wave of cuts impacting approximately 4,200 jobs across the government. While the total number of special education staff affected remains unclear, the impact is undeniable. Department officials remain silent, failing to respond to requests for clarification or comment. Rachel Gittleman, president of AFGE Local 252, the union representing many education department employees, stated, "Based on multiple reports from staff and their managers, we believe that all remaining staff in the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, OSERS, including the Office of Special Education Programs, OSEP, and the Rehabilitative Services Administration, RSA, have been illegally fired." She further emphasized the devastating impact these cuts will have on the 7.5 million students with disabilities across the country. Employees who received notices were informed that their employment would end on December 9th. NPR spoke with numerous federal workers who were affected by the cuts, all of who worked within OSERS, as well as former officials with close ties to the office. These employees expressed deep concern that crucial responsibilities would now go unmet, creating a void for states, school districts, and families. IDEA, now 50 years old, is more than just a law. It's a civil rights guarantee. It requires states to provide special education services for children from birth to age 21 and provides funding to support these services. Each year, states are required to submit student data to OSERS, demonstrating their compliance with the law. They must also submit annual plans and apply for billions of dollars in IDEA funding. OSERS staff meticulously review these state plans, analyzing data and ensuring compliance with federal law. They have the authority to initiate investigations into states that are believed to be out of compliance and provide technical assistance. One employee poignantly stated that without OSERS staff, there is no oversight to make sure all children with disabilities get the services they're entitled to. This highlights the critical role these individuals played in safeguarding the rights of students with disabilities. OSERS staff also handled direct inquiries from parents and families across the country, seeking guidance on their child's rights under federal disability law and assistance when they believe their child is being unlawfully denied services. One affected worker shared, "I don't think people realize how many calls we get from parents and families every day. The loss of this vital resource leaves many families without a critical lifeline." President Trump had previously expressed his desire to return education to the states, suggesting that dismantling the education department was part of this plan. While these staff cuts do not directly impact special education funding to states, they raise serious concerns about oversight and accountability. One state director of special education, speaking anonymously, voiced their fear that the lack of federal oversight could lead to inconsistencies in how states interpret and implement the law. The concept of leaving special education up to states sounds great, but it's scary. What happens if one state decides to interpret the law one way, but another state disagrees and interprets it differently? And this is the part most people miss: the potential for unequal access to quality special education services across different states. Without a strong federal presence, some states might prioritize special education less than others, leaving students with disabilities in those states at a disadvantage. Multiple sources also questioned the legality of the cuts, citing the federal requirement for an Office of Special Education Programs. One OSERS employee lamented, "Now the federal government is out of compliance with federal disability law." Another poignantly asked, "Who will families go to when there's nobody left?" This situation raises critical questions about the balance between federal oversight and state autonomy in education. Do you believe the potential benefits of returning control to the states outweigh the risks of reduced accountability and inconsistent implementation of special education laws? What role should the federal government play in ensuring equal access to quality education for all students, regardless of their disability or where they live? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's discuss the future of special education and how we can best support students with disabilities.